The machines whir to life and all at once begin to charge at the group of heroes. And with that, we're going to go ahead and dive into a combat. Once again, where's my pad of paper? I neglected to get everything ready in advance. Once again, we're going to be starting out, without a supplemental captain's log. But let me grab my pad of paper and we'll dive right into combat. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into some combats. We have Captain Bronson going to be rolling for the hero party. And they're reasonably well matched, and because Lieutenant Commander Berglund had a success to end the last act, the crew is not surprised, which means we don't automatically start off with a hit against us. So let's go ahead and go with, as the captain pulls out a phaser. They are always prepared with phase pistols. They do not go on away missions without them. This is going to be control security, difficulty 1, target number 12. Let's see what we can do. Okay, that's a 4 and a 20. We're going to spend our momentum to get rid of that threat. I hate threat. It is the bane of my existence, but that is a success. So we have a hit as first, and we'll say that it's not Captain Bronson who gets the first successful shot on one of the little diggers. It would be Major Lambert. She has pulled her. I don't think she would have brought her rifle for this. I think she'd be using the Mako phase pistol that's modeled a little more off of the EM33 design. I think it is. Still, I would love to get my hands on a Mako phase pistol, whatever you want to call them. I love that design. Okay, so she gets off the first shot. By the time she's kind of fired a few bursts into the little digger, Bronson and Matthews and Berglund would all have their phase pistols out and would be firing as well. So once again, target number 12, difficulty 1. Wow, this thing wanted me to have a threat. I do hit the 12, so I got a 10, but I did roll a 20, so we will generate a threat. That's just fine. In this case, we're going to spend that threat right away to remove one of our previous successes, since that is a thing we can do. So we are still at 1 success. I don't like rolling 2 difficulty. All right. Oh, actually, I did that backwards, so we'll call this the diggers. It's been a bit since we did a combat, I think. I don't remember. It's been a while since I recorded the last session, regardless. Okay, so the diggers have taken 1 hit. Bronson's going to fire again, and we'll say that in that case, maybe one of the Kaferians got in the way, and so he had to kind of divert and hold his fire for a second as we'll say Berglund and Matthews got the ambassador and the rest of the Kaferian party behind them. They fire another shot. Excellent, an 8 and a 10. Generate a momentum that I throw on accident. Do another bit of damage to the diggers. Major Lambert still probably doing the bulk of the work. And there's probably only 1 digger, maybe 2 diggers of the original 6 that are left in good enough condition to do any damage to the group. So another volley and 2 and a 3. Excellent. Wow. What a way to end it. So with that good of a roll, Bronson and Lambert fire their weapons simultaneously, hitting first one target and then the other. Their bursts significantly overloading those particular diggers and getting them out of the situation without too much difficulty. So let's go ahead and mark that. I don't know if this is a new change or if I just neglected to notice it the last few times, but I like the fact that each of the acts is a different color. That's neat. The only thing that would be cool, and I don't think you can do this in Adobe Acrobat, is if you could set it up so you click multiple times and you can get multiple symbols. I know we can do that in Fantasy Grounds, which I'm used to for some various things, but that would be a neat feature. I don't think that's the case, but as the sound of phaser fire dwindles, the ambassador turns to Captain Bronson and says, "Oh, Captain, I'm terribly sorry. We never expected anything like this. I wonder what could have happened. These machines should have been shut down ages ago. And the captain, of course, is very, encouraging. It's all right, Ambassador. It could have happened to anybody. Would you like any assistance while we're here? I don't like to toot my own horn, but I'm a decent scientist still, and of course you have my science officer and chief engineer here. We might be able to figure out something as far as what's going on. Yes, that would be... I don't exactly know what toot your own horn means, but any assistance would certainly be welcome. He looks to the rest of his entourage and says, I don't think any of us are quite capable of diagnosing what might be going on with these machines. Our culture has left such things mostly behind, gone back to a simpler way of life. I understand, Ambassador. We'll take a look and see what we can do. If you don't mind, stay here with Major Lambert, and she'll make sure that nothing happens. Yes, I think that's an excellent idea. Alright, let's go ahead and get into our second task of the act as Captain Bronson and the others begin their sciencing. So I think Bronson's just going to do a straight up reason science. I think he's going to start digging through, maybe taking out his tricorder, scanning the machines, things of that nature. So let's go ahead and roll. So target number 15, difficulty 1. Why do I keep... The mat on my desk is very terrible at keeping dice on it. Okay, we do have one success. We rolled a 10 and a 16. So let's go ahead and mark that. Alrighty. So Bronson kind of scans for a while and takes a look at the data, the little data that he can see on his tricorder, and kind of turns to Commander Berglund and says, Commander, is it just me, or have these things been repaired more recently than the several hundred years we were led to believe? They certainly seem to not have the level of corrosion that I would expect from something that's been left outside or even inside in such conditions. Well, sir, they did say it's a dry climate and we shouldn't see as much degradation, but you're right, I'm not seeing almost any corrosion on these machines. They're well built, so that could be a part of it, but... He thinks for a second, and we're going to do an insight engineering test. Target number 14 for Commander Berglund. A 12 and a 1. We already have a momentum, so that's not going to help us, but there is definitely something strange about them, sir. I can't quite put my finger on it, but no, I think it's clear. These machines have been in use more recently than several hundred years ago. Well, I guess we should try and figure out what they've been doing since then. Let's dig into the logs and see what we can find out. And at this point, they head over to a computer terminal, and with our previous 2 successes, I think they'd be able to get into the system without any major difficulties. And they start to peruse the logs, and we would see records from the kind of docking stations for each of these machines, and they each indicate that these machines, the machines that attacked them in particular, had been out mining about 12 hours before and were in a regeneration cycle when the group came in. And funny, I don't know that this is the case, but it would be amusing if they had merely activated and were just about to go back on their business and we're not actually going to attack the landing party. I think that would be funny. I don't know that we need to say that's the case, but since they didn't get a hit in on the party, if you want to think of it that way, I'm fine with that. Well, they've been digging. Okay. Bronson walks back over to the ambassador and says, Ambassador, I don't know how to tell you this, but it looks like your machines here have been continuing to dig, at least recently. It's possible, I suppose, that they've turned themselves back on, I guess, but they've been digging, and I think it would be wise to check out that particular site. Should be a short walk from here, no more than 5 or so minutes. With your permission, of course.
Yes, that should be just fine. Let's see what these buggers have been up to.
A short walk later, and we see the captain and the ambassador, and of course the rest of the landing party, make it to the edge of a what looks to be a mine shaft. And as they kind of just peer down, the sight before them is disturbing. It looks like after the first, maybe 100 feet of surface, there is a warren of tunnels, and it looks like the first quarter mile of land, again, after that first 100 feet of surface, about a quarter mile deep, it is just a honeycomb of tunnels. There are support beams in place, but it looks like a lot of that surface area has been hollowed out. And the captain kind of leans over and looks down, and we see that this mine shaft, while that kind of hollowed section doesn't extend very far, I mean, a quarter of a mile is a quarter of a mile, that's a long ways. But with a quick scan, they don't see a bottom to this mine shaft. And with a quick scan, it shows that it is deep enough to be concerning. And I think we're going to have Bronson do another science test here. So this will be a reason science, again, a target number 15, using his geophysics focus. Let's see what we've got. And I'm not a geophysicist, so I am not able to speak on this subject. So do not take the science that I'm about to spout as anything less than technobabble, if that. But I rolled a 2 and an 18, so we are good on our geophysics reason science test. Ambassador, if I'm not mistaken, this planet is not entirely stable. That mine shaft looks like it goes all the way down to the planet's core at this point. And if these machines have been digging everywhere where they've been turned off, it's possible there's more than one shaft that goes to the planet's core. I think we need to head back to the Challenger and begin a more focused series of scans, with your permission.
Yes, I think I need to speak with our own scientific corps and see what they can tell me about this.
And with that, the group returns to the Kaferian shuttle. And I think, we've only done 3 tasks in Act 2. And this is becoming a habit, and I don't necessarily want it to. But I think we're going to go ahead and call Act 2 a little bit early. This seems like a bit of a nice climactic moment. We have the concern radiating from both the captain and the ambassador, and we can resume Act 3 back on the Challenger. So I think we're going to leave it there. Once again, feel free to comment on what you might have done differently. If there was anything you think I could have added that would have enhanced Act 2 based on what I already had done, I'd be very interested to hear that as well. I'm always looking to improve my storytelling from the personal aspect, as well as hoping to make it more entertaining for all of you watching at home. In the meantime, until Act 3 and the conclusion to the Kaferian incident, I hope you all have an excellent week, and live long and prosper.